The deck of a tug is not the easiest place to work. Heavy swells, high winds, strong tides, heavy equipment and massive loads combine to make it a difficult and sometimes dangerous place. But the work done is invaluable. In today's shipping market, the size of vessels is increasing faster than ports can grow to accommodate them. Harbour operations are becoming more complex. Time pressures and increasing traffic are making ever greater demands on tugs. To meet the challenge, tug crews depend on the professionalism of vessel crews. Good teamwork between everyone involved is essential. But teamwork requires a shared understanding of towing techniques, tug capabilities, and the ship's requirements. It requires effective communications between the pilot,
10 acts down to 1/4,
tug master, bridge team, and deck crew. It also depends on both crews fully understanding what is going to happen and when. Where and when will the operation begin? When will it finish? What manoeuvres will take place? For harbour operations, it is essential that standard plans and procedures are agreed in advance by pilots, tug masters, and port authorities. Relevant procedures should be relayed to each vessel's master before arrival. These will provide the foundation for individual plans for each operation. There are many elements to consider. Where best to pick up a tow? Off the fairway buoy or nearer the berth? Where is the vessel berthing, and what is the best approach, taking wind and tide into consideration? How many tugs are required, and what type of support is expected? A tug on the bow is normally used to assist manoeuvring at low speed. Alongside or hip tows are used when extra manoeuvrability is required in restricted waters. Escort towage can assist steering and braking from the stern. Combinations of these techniques are often employed. Sometimes all that is required is passive escort, where the tug is standing close by for support if needed. It is important that the pilot is aware of the safe working load for the vessel's bits and fairleads, and is able to relate these to the power of each tug and its line. Different tug types have different qualities and different strengths. Today, stern-driven tugs are either conventional or azimuth stern drive, or ASD. ASDs can tow over the stern in the conventional mode, or over the bow in tractor mode. For ship handling, an ASD will tow over the bow, in effect working as a tractor tug. Tractor tugs with propulsion at the front are very agile. There are two major designs. Voith Schneider, and azimuth tractor. Recently, a new breed of highly manoeuvrable mini-tugs for harbour operations has entered service. Each type offers a different balance of power and manoeuvrability. Each has different capabilities and different limitations. Their suitability for various tasks should be assessed by pilots and tug masters.
And the interesting thing there is the ratio between the head and stern monopole of 67 tons.
And included in the standard operational plans. In briefing the master of a vessel, the pilot should explain these operational plans.
Once we get off the berth, we can let go of the forward tug, come around and push.
A fully completed standard pilot card should be presented.
So
During the master-pilot exchange of information, the vessel's master should provide the pilot with key information, such as the safe working load for the vessel's bits and leads.
And the safe working load of the bits?
60 tons.
Their position, and the minimum steerage speed for the vessel. From these exchanges, the best making fast position and approach by any tug should be agreed. The master and pilot should also discuss whether the vessel is reinforced to take the tug in the pushing position.
Okay.
And he'll be escorting us.
Whether the vessel's lines or the tug's lines should be used.
Tugs to go off.
What is the best method for picking up and casting off a tow line? The minimum speed for picking up a line. The maximum safe speed possible with tugs made fast. On the approach, where best to secure so that a steady course and speed can be maintained.
Second, could we have the radios on, that one on 12 and that one on channel 9, please?
The working channels for radio communications. With a plan agreed, the risks involved should be assessed. The forces involved in towage operations are considerable. The weight of equipment to be manhandled. The power of winches, capstans and engines. And the forces of wind, wave and tide. There is the vast difference in power, size and manoeuvrability of the vessels involved. Taken together, these can create a volatile and hazardous environment in which mistakes can have serious consequences. The risk assessment must be methodical and reflect the operational plan. Each phase should be considered and evaluated, and this takes time.
Yeah, that's fine. Have the two tugs out for insurance.
That's fine.
Yep.
What risks are there in each manoeuvre? What hazards will be presented by the equipment used? Where would equipment failure present the greatest danger? Who is most at risk on both vessels? What will happen if communications fail?
10 acts ready for lift, thank you.
Will other vessels' movements create a hazard? And where? What effect will wind and tide have? Is visibility likely to deteriorate during the operation? Have the hazards from the vessel's cargo been taken into consideration? What contingency plans are there? If there is a problem, what action will be taken? Do the pilot and tugmaster agree?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, Gareth, thanks a lot. Thanks, man.
Accidents have a habit of growing from a series of failures. For tugs, arriving on time is essential. It avoids risks occurring from hasty assessments and late control. It is also good practice to allow extra time for unforeseen difficulties
Sorry, wait on starboard bow.
with communications, people, or equipment. All equipment must be regularly inspected and maintained. A worn tow rope or a bad lead may cause a line to part, and control of the vessel may not be recovered before an accident occurs. When a line parts, there is extreme danger for anyone nearby. An engine failure when towing may cause the tug to be overrun by the towed vessel. It is essential for the tug winch release to function under load. It should be tested before every towage operation. The tug master should assess the pilot's instructions and query any that seem unclear or inappropriate.
Repeat the warden, please.
Yes, when you're ready, push on, easy power.
Roger, push on, easy power.
The tug deck crew should be properly briefed on the operation,
The 10X bridge.
however routine or obvious it may seem.
Yes, we'll be going up to the process heel. We'll be connecting centre lead aft.
Sorry, sir.
It is equally important that the vessel's deck crew is briefed on the plan and what is required of them at each stage. Where are lines required? To what should they be made fast? And when? For the deck crews to perform their task effectively, equipment must work faultlessly. Inspection and maintenance is essential. Roller pins on fair leads may wear and fracture if not regularly greased and inspected. A damaged fair lead can destroy a costly rope or cause a personal injury. Bits and chocks are subjected to heavy loads during towage. They should be inspected regularly to ensure they are in good condition. Ropes and wires can also fail if not maintained. Wires should be checked for corrosion or kinks and oiled or greased regularly. Ropes should be checked for chafing and splices for security. It is common for there to be confusion about which bits are designed for low-stress tasks such as mooring or securing barges alongside, and which are designed for towage. It has been known for incorrectly used bits to be ripped right out of the deck. Masters should know the safe working loads of the bits on their vessels and provide this information to the pilot.
Now, what's the safe working load of your bits?
The bits are 60 tons, and bollard in the center lead aft is 250 tons.
Winches on vessels should never be used to make fast towing lines. They should always be made fast to bits designed for towage operations. Deck crews should be aware of the tug's equipment. It has been known for crews to mistake a tug's messenger line for the tow line and make fast with this. When this happens, the tug cannot apply load and control of the vessel may be lost through the delay. Lighter messenger lines can also be deceptive. The vessel's deck crew may start hauling the messenger line by hand, but then struggle when the heavier tow line hits the water. By then, it is too late to employ a winch. Delays occur while more hands are summoned to help. Having sufficient crew to pick up lines and make fast avoids delays and reduces risk. With a properly briefed crew, mistakes such as incorrect bit selection or making fast with a messenger can be avoided. Existing SOLAS regulations require emergency towing equipment on tankers of 20,000 tons deadweight or more. New SOLAS regulations require that emergency towing procedures are provided on all passenger ships by the year 2010 and all existing cargo ships by 2012. Harbour operations have their own specific challenges. With heavy traffic and limited manoeuvring space, vigilance must be maintained. It is important to remember that most harbour towage operations are conducted under contracts which impose liability upon the owner of the towed ship for loss and damage that occurs, even if this arises as a result of the fault of the tug. This imbalance makes it particularly important for those on board the towed ship to do everything within their power to ensure that the towage proceeds without incident. Planning should include an assessment of the worst-case situations and actions that should be taken by all vessels. The aim should be the safety of personnel, the tugs and the ship, as well as damage limitation. Before the operation begins, the master must